Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the MLB podcast. We will talk now our ALCS preview, so welcome to that. And here and right now, we're going to talk about the Yankees versus Astros. So, who would I say is the favorites in that series? It's kind of interesting. The Yankees won 103 games. The Astros won 107. So I'm going to project my starting pitching matchups right now. And this is kind of guessing. For the Yankees, it's complete guessing. But game one, I'm going to say it's going to be Paxton. Then I'm going to say it's going to be Severino. In game two, or Tanaka. There's a Severino will be pitching on about 5 days rest. So more than regular rest. And then there's Tanaka, who pitched Saturday, so he'll get over a week to rest. Which maybe you want to rest, give Severino a little extra rest, and then it could be J.A. Happ. And for the Astros, it's going to be Zach Greinke tomorrow. He'll be on regular rest. Verlander, regular rest. Greinke will be on Cole on Tuesday. Game 3, a little bit more than regular. Game 5 was last night, so yes, he'll be on regular rest. And then Jose Urquidy or possibly Wade Miley. So that's what I think the starting pitching matchups will be in the series, and it'll be Astros starting pitching. Could be interesting to see how Verlander and Cole against the Yankees offense. And one thing that's so again, the Yankees against the Twins in that series, they used the bats, and they had home runs. They had ton of walks. I think they had 16 the first 2 games, and they just had long at bats, and they just got and basically the difference was in that series when they had runners on, they took advantage of it. The Twins didn't. There wasn't that many home runs in the series, but when the Yankees had runners on, they hit their home runs then. And the Twins really had no chance to win the series. In game 1, you might have thought they did. By game 2, the series was looking bad. And by game 3, the Twins, they had a bunch of runners on. They had opportunities. They stranded a lot of runners. I think they had the bases loaded multiple times. And they couldn't get it done. The Yankees took advantage of that. And that's why that series ended in 3. So now you have this Yankees team. And again, the Astros clearly have the better starting pitching. I mean, the Yankees rotation, is not at full strength. How are you going to beat Verlander and Cole, right? Well, so what I think, and again, the Astros have great offense too, don't get me wrong on that. So here's what I think's going to happen. So Zach Greinke's starting. Remember how he pitched poorly against Tampa? Well, I think the same thing's going to happen again. I think he's going to pitch poorly against the Rays in Tampa. Or I'm sorry, I was referring to the last year. He's pitching against the Yankees. I think the same thing's going to happen again. Since again, I may be wrong on this, but what I think is he doesn't throw very hard. He kind of relies on location, not power stuff like Verlander and Cole. And the Yankees might, again, what we saw they did against the Twins, they might be patient on it, might be wait for their pitch to drive, and they may give them some trouble in game 1. So I'd say the Yankees win game 1 with offense, and then Verlander and Cole, they win games 2 and 3. They win games 2 and 3. Right? So what I think is going to happen is again, there could be high-scoring games and pitcher's duels. You could have a pitcher's duel in game 2, having Justin Verlander on the mound against maybe a Luis Severino type. Maybe that does turn into a pitcher's duel that Verlander probably wins. Or Garrett Cole against Tanaka. Or maybe not really pitcher's duel. Maybe there's more games where I think there's going to be offense in every game. I don't think we may not have any, say, classic pitching duels that you saw in the, say, Buehler versus Strasburg or Flaherty versus Fulte back in game 2, Soroka and Wainwright. Series like that. I do not think we'll see any pitching duels in this series. There might be maybe 1 or 2, but again, if you have probably the best well-pitched game by a starter in this series, if you want to look at game score, most productive start, It's, or maybe not production, just like, wow, 7 inning start. It's going to come from Houston. The Yankees, in that Twin series, did not show anything close to that of having, say, deep starting pitching. They're not as bad as the Rays. Not as bad as the Rays, but they are bullpen dependent. They will rely on their bullpen. And that showed in that series. I mean, Aaron Boone made a lot of pitching changes, especially in that Game 3. Had guys throw one batter type deals. I mean, he removed Adam Ottavino, which in Colorado last year, he was someone who might get pitch as much as 2 innings. Well, not in New York. I think twice he was removed within one batter type deal, something like that. Well, same thing's going to happen again. And now, so where was it? Okay, so if that does happen, that's how they're going to use their bullpen. And in terms of offense, both of them can line up against each other. I mean, they both have great offenses. I think they're two of the best offenses in the American League. I mean, sure, we could go all day by position, but again, if you go through everywhere, the Yankees have better offense at catcher, obviously. But if you look at position by position, Astros get hit, Yankees get hit. Now, the Yankees, they're kind of short-handed all year, so the Astros have, say, more MVP-type candidates in a Bregman or a Brantley, Altuve, guys like that. Or the Yankees, they can hit a lot of home runs. They hit 307 this year. So again, the Astros hit a lot of home runs too. I think we'll see a lot of home runs in that series, especially think about Verlander. He's prone to giving up home runs, right? You may see that. So if the Yankees somehow find a way to hit home runs off Verlander or whatever, and their pitching is just dominant that day, they can steal a game. They can steal an extra game. So I think how the series is going to go. I'm going to restart it. I think the Yankees get to Greinke. So Greinke would start Game 1 and Game 5. And obviously, in Game 5 would be at Yankee Stadium. So I think the Yankees get to Greinke in those 2 games. In Game 1 and Game 5. And then Verlander and Cole, I think they win Games 2 and 3. And they make things interesting. They have a 2-1 lead. The Yankees offense dominates in Game 4. Since the Astros are not certain about their starter, Game 4 I think is going to be a slugfest. That the Yankees win. And then they managed to win Game 5, and then I think Cole and Verlander back in Houston. You know what's going to happen? I think Cole and Verlander, like they did against the Rays, and especially Garrett Cole, I think they carry the Astros pitching. They carry the rotation. They're responsible for all 4 of the series wins. I think games not started by them, they lose. Games started by they win. So that is why I say the Astros win in 7 against the Yankees. And the reason being is Cole and Verlander. They, like they did against the Rays, they saved the Astros. They saved their season. And by the way, Garrett Cole's pitching in Game 7 back in Houston. The series is 1-1 in Yankee Stadium. Cole gives him that boost. It's Game 7. And when this series is over, and we're doing the World Series preview show, if the Astros win, will I be talking about, the biggest reason why? Sure, the Astros offense contributed, but the biggest reason was Garrett Cole. Will I be repeating that same conversation again like I did last time? I don't know for sure. And one thing about Verlander I want to talk about is his history against the Yankees. I mean, it goes all the way back to 2006. Now, that's not relevant. You know, he faced the Yankees in 11 and 12. Those are different teams. That's not relevant either. But 2017... he had 21 strikeouts, including a 13 strikeout complete game. 1 run in 16 innings. This is a similar Yankees team that is very familiar with the current Astros Verlander. And I think that's the problem. I think the Yankees have a hard time getting Verlander since the last. Sure, and their lineup is different, but it's mostly the same. It is fairly similar. There are similar pieces of that lineup. So obviously, yes, Verlander could get to them. And sure, the Verlander, the top dominant Verlander of 11 and 12, beating those Yankees teams that had A-Rod, Jeter, at the end of their career, Teixeira, Cano, those teams. That shows how good Verlander is if he can dominate against the Yankees time and time again in the playoffs. So again, the Astros have 2 Cy Young Award winners. And like a lot of things, I think the Yankees are almost as good. When it comes to offense, there's almost is going to be very close. Maybe the Astros are slightly better, but the Yankees can certainly be better in this series. When it comes to bullpen, advantage Yankees. They have a deeper bullpen, but when it comes to starting pitching, big advantage on the Astros, and it's going to show why they win in 7. So as I said earlier, Astros win in 7. It's going to be a fun series to watch. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So guess what? The Astros are going to the World Series for the 2nd year in a row. That is my prediction. So thank you for listening. We'll see you next time. Next up at ALCS.